Thank you. So, one large new area for the 5.2 server is analytics. So I'm very happy here to show you a live demo of what we have created. And I've heard, at least in the two talks before, mentioned that it's very important to measure how successful the content is and how it's performing, to show its value and so on. And that's really what this is about. Helping you to show the value you're bringing to the business and why this is important at all. And also to help you manage the whole content creation process. So before diving into the details, there's one important thing to understand for the new analytics. Before, in our analytics, we have been looking a lot at checks and how the checks were doing and if the Acrolinx score of the checks was improving. But in the end, we figured out it's actually not about the checks, it's about the content. You're interested in your content, right? And so we had to change the way we look at the data we are collecting. And we created what has already mentioned, the content groups. And these allow you to group content documents into a content group and allow you to track the performance of the content in that group. And then it's not about the checks anymore, it's about the content in that content group and how that is doing, if that's improving, and what's the best content in that content group, what's the worst content, and so on. So you see here, for the definition of the content group, basically you can create a content group, for example, for customer success. And you can say, okay, I want to tag every document that we see that comes from someone in the customer success department as going into that content group. Or you can take any other way to slice and dice this document path and so on. It's pretty flexible. And that's basically what you need to do to set up your content groups. And then the new analytics feature helps you to track exactly that. So let's take an example in point. We have these 7 analytics dashboards which come out of the box now with 5.2 server. And if I'm the manager, I've bought Acrolinx, I want to know what value I'm getting out of it. So we have the business value dashboard for that. And let's say mid of last year, I onboarded the marketing department. I want to see how that's going. So now with the dashboards, I can just open that, and I have on the right-hand side, I have filters, which allow me to directly drill into the data. So I can zoom into the content group marketing, and it will update the numbers automatically. And then it allows me to look here how that's performing. And I see here the development of the average Acrolinx score for marketing. And I see it's really not moving much. That doesn't look good, right? And I also remember that we wanted to get above a 70 in the first step on that department. Okay, that doesn't look good here. Also, I see here that we had some improvements going on. This is measuring how much improvements have been done using Acrolinx feedback. So we are measuring the value you are getting out of the system. It's kind of a measurement of value. And you see that mid of last year, there was some improvements going on, but it went down all the time. So also not looking very good. So I'm wondering, okay, what's going on here? Better talk to the manager for the marketing department, see what's up. So now looking specifically at the content quality. Now the responsible manager can just drill in and look here at the content quality. Again, I'll just zoom into marketing. I could zoom also into time ranges by department, by language, whatever way I want to. And I see here again my chart on the average Acrolinx score. So again, not good. I see down here the average age of the content. And I've heard content freshness already mentioned today. And it's very important that content stays fresh, so that it stays current and it's really interesting to the readers. And so we're measuring that now. We can see what's the average age of each document in that content group. And we see it's going up. So that's not good. We have some work going on here and content's getting worked on, it's getting fresher, but then it's going up again. So really, again, not what I want to see. In the ideal case, I want to have a flat line here. I want to have some kind of process in place that all the content is updated on some kind of regular basis, every 6 months, every year or so. Someone at least looks if the content is still up to date and does some check. And then I can also look, I have a benchmark value. That's the benchmark I was mentioning. It was 70 for the marketing content group. And now all the content is compared to the benchmark. And I see here I have like 44% of my content is on or above the benchmark. That leaves quite a large number of documents below the benchmark. And I can now zoom in. I can click here on the graph, and it will give me the list of documents that are below the benchmark value, much below the benchmark value. Now I can go to my team of editors and tell them, look, this is the worst scoring content in that content group. If we want to move the needle up on the average Acrolinx score of the content, that's the content we should look at first. That's the easiest to really get our average up. So that's where we should start working on it. I can also now look into checking activity, because I'm wondering why aren't more people really using that system? Why is the score still not looking good? And again, drilling into marketing, I see some activity here, some Acrolinx checks, some documents checks. Mid of last year, then really nothing much, and then some activity, but doesn't look really great. And I also see it in the number of active users. It just went down and now slowly coming up again. I can now look, I want to perhaps set up a group evangelizing the usage of Acrolinx. So I can go in and see who is actually using the system right now. Perhaps that's the people I can approach to set up that user group and really spread the word about Acrolinx. So I see here that Chuck has done by far the most checks, followed by Steve, Mitchell, and Andrew. So that's probably the first people I could approach to set up that user group and get usage up of the system. So that's what you get on our standard dashboards. But there's more to it. You can now also set up your own dashboards if you're interested in that by going to the custom dashboards. And here all our standard dashboards are defined, but I can also create my own. Let's say I want to create a web report, and I want to create, I want to know what's the average Acrolinx score for the checks actually per department. And so I can go to checks and I can say, okay, I'm interested in average Acrolinx score, and I'm interested to look at it by department. So I select that, I select department, I select average Acrolinx score, and now it's just starts going and collecting that data, and here we go. For all the departments, I get the average Acrolinx score. Now table is great already if I want to export it to Excel. Bar chart would also be nice. I click on bar chart, I get it as a bar chart. It's really easy. You can then create the graphs as tables, as charts, as you want to have them. I can just save them. And also now I have the possibility to schedule this to get sent out, for example, every Sunday to all the management team. And I can just create a schedule here. I can say, put in the conditions, run this task periodically, weekly, we want to run it on Sundays. And then I can set it to email, and I can then set up all the recipients on this report, and then automatically the email will get sent out. So you have both possibilities, live dashboards with real-time filtering, or the scheduling for automatically emails to be sent out.